Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapens.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
We happen to be here at the Vancouver International Wine Festival, the 47th annual.
Oh boy, I tell you, we do this every year. Your regular viewers would know that, but boy, it is slammed busy here today. Nice to see.
It is really slammed, and this year is France is the theme country, and everyone is jammed behind us in the French area, of course, lined up for the champagne.
Yes, now before the festival started, of course, as we do every year, we had a segment with the executive director, Harry Hirschtag. We ran that in February. You're looking at it now. So this is kind of a post-interview thing as we do every year with the festival.
It is. He tells us a little bit about what's been happening and how great the wine festival is. Well, every year.
It is, yes. Well, after you watch this, we'll get to the wine festival and some of the highlights we saw when we were here. Well, we're back here where we began the show at the Vancouver International Wine Festival. It is custom with our show, Lita, that every year around this time we welcome back this man to your left, at home your right. Lita.
Well, we have Harry Hirschtag. He is, I always like to say, the wine DJ, but he is the executive director of this incredible festival, the 47th annual Vancouver International Wine Festival. Harry, welcome to our city tonight again.
Thank you for coming to my party. We organize this all year round. It means so much to me to bring the wine world together, 14 countries.
Yeah.
I love being the host.
You are a good host, and you were just saying it takes you all year. It's so much work. Tell us your little analogy you just shared with us about opening a restaurant. I love it.
Imagine how much work it is to open a restaurant, and you're the owner of a restaurant. Imagine how much pride you would have that the restaurant finally opens and you can walk up and down the aisles and greet customers, and you've got the chef in the back and you've got your maitre d' in the front.
Yeah.
But imagine a person that just likes to just keep organizing, opening a restaurant, but never opening the restaurant. That's how I feel about this. I mean, we're here only 3 days and then I have to tear this business down. It's so sad.
It is sad.
I just love, there's 2,000 people in this room. Wine brings people together. You know, I got one more thing I want to say. 99% of history, wine was safer to drink than water. For 99% of history, wine was the number one medicine.
I'm not going to fight you on that one. That sounds like makes sense.
And now in a short period of time, we're so concerned about wine and health reasons. And yes, we need to be concerned about our health. Mm-hmm. But wine has been a beverage that has built civilizations, brings people together. We've got 112 wineries, 14 countries, and look how happy people are.
It is crowded here today, as it's been every day you've been open. This year, of course, France is the main spotlight. How has that been, and how have the people reacted to France being in the spotlight and all their great wines?
Champagne. People make a beeline to the champagne tables. So we try to put the champagne tables as far as in the most obscure spot possible. So
Right.
It takes people 5 minutes to find the champagne.
It's like the sale rack in a store.
Yeah, hey, you don't put that by the front door. And but we have wines not only from Champagne, Alsace, Loire Valley, Bordeaux, Burgundy, Rhone, south of France, all the storied regions.
Nice.
And there's just so many gems. The average price of wine being poured here is like over $40. Yet you'll find great wines at $15. Oh my goodness, that wine is $140. There's just so many surprises.
Yeah.
And so you can find wines, whether it's a gift for Christmas or a birthday, your weekend warrior, a weeknight regular, and you get to learn about so much about wine because the owner, the winemaker, the person who's connected to the winery is here. It's like being at a festival where you get to hang out with the band.
Yeah, that's always a
love
big
it.
attraction, a bonus for Lita and I, is we're interviewing people whose names are on the bottle. That's always
It's
great.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Can we ask you so people can prepare, do you have the dates set for next year yet, or is that stay tuned?
It's the same week.
Same week? Okay,
So
that's good.
March 8th to 13th.
Right,
Perfect.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right, after winter, you'd think there wouldn't be any snow anymore. A little
Yeah.
surprise this year. And before spring break, because we know people like to go to warm places during spring break.
Harry, thank you as we always like to do with Harry. We're going to go meet a few other winemakers here at this great event. Well, every year at the Vancouver International Wine Festival, they award someone the Spirited Industry Award, or SIP. This year's winner is sitting with us for the first time on this show. I can't believe it. It's first time for Carmen D'Onofrio is on our show. Sir, we've been on the air 11 years, and you're just getting on the show now, but it's great to have you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Good
You're
to have you.
also the managing director of Stile Brands, or Style Brands, as we know here in Vancouver. Congratulations on your award. You've brought some very interesting wine for us to try today. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about this very special wine.
This wine is one of our very first producers. So it's De Maio Norante family winery. And they were one of the very first families to make wine in Molise. It's a very poor region. My father was from that region of Italy, and they used to sell their grapes to the northern wineries. This winery said, well, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to make our own wine. And they now become the flagship winery of Molise. But not only that, they did something very special about a half dozen years ago, and they saved a varietal, the wine that we're drinking here today, called Tintilia. So Italy has thousands of different varietals, 20 different regions. And this is one wine, one varietal that is only found in Molise. And they saved it about 6-7 years ago from extinction. And now there's a dozen other wineries that are producing Tintilia. There's a consortium. There's a whole business just around this wine now. It's great to see.
Wow.
We often hear from our viewers when we do these segments at the wine festival where they say, mouth-watering, can we get the wine here? From this region, Italy, Lita and I both had the pleasure of going to Italy many times. Is this wine, can our viewers find all these wines here?
Yeah, so this wine's here in market. You'll find this at especially wine shops and in restaurants. So a lot of the, Italian top restaurants in town carry this wine. It's something unique. There'll only be 1 or 2 wines from Molise in their wine list. This is usually one of them.
Excellent.
Well, you also were the gentleman who established Italian Day on the Drive. I also want to make that a point. They call you the mayor of Commercial Drive, so definitely the big wig here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And I think this is a first on our show, your first appearance on our show, but
Yes.
this is the first time we've had somebody that's been in the food and wine business and that world, and also was a professional football or soccer player. This is a first for us, so thank you.
Well,
and I hope you probably have a zillion stories about that
I've
world.
got lots of stories, but that was my first life, and it was great. And I was fortunate enough to play on the national team at a young age, U19, under 21. I represented Canada at the Pan Am Games and the Francophone Games, and qualifying for the Atlanta Olympics in '96. So it was a lot of fun, and played with the '86ers, Whitecaps, and indoor with the Edmonton Drillers of the NPSL. So that was my first life. It was a lot of fun, and the memories are amazing.
That's beautiful. Hey, well, let's cheers.
Yes.
Carmen D'Onofrio, thank you for joining us. First time on the show. Thanks for the
Thank
wine.
you.
Cheers.
Well, France is the theme region this year at the Vancouver International Wine Festival, and we are so fortunate to have a French winery here. I have Jean-Luc Fauré, and he is from, tell us your estate wine that you're from.
I'm come from Chablis, but a small village near Chablis, 2 kilometers.
Wow. And you've poured a beautiful wine for us today. Can you tell us a little bit about this one?
This one is regular Chablis. We say Chablis village in France. It's less difficult wine. You have to drink young because it's a little bit open than before the first cru. And it's very fruity and it's very fresh.
Wonderful. Chablis is one of my favorites. It doesn't you don't find a lot of it here. So when we do, it's just absolutely delicious. Now, your estate has been around for 4 generations. Can you tell us a little bit of the history of that?
Yes. I work with my grandfather and father, and they at this time they only sell to wine merchant. And when I come back school, I passed 5 years in Beaune, and after when I come back, I decided to doing some bottles, and now I sell to 26 different countries my wines, and I think Chablis is very different Chardonnay because we are on the north of the Burgundy, and the weather is very fresh, and we have more acidity than other Chardonnay.
Wonderful.
And we have a lot of limestones coming with sedimency.
Wonderful. Well, I am going to taste it with you.
Yes.
So a little cheers, and then we will taste your beautiful wine. Oh, I'm so glad your family decided to not just sell to wine merchants, to sell to the general public. This is delicious. And this is your second wine festival here in Vancouver. We really hope you come back next year as
thank
well.
you.
Thank you.
I like Canadian people because they are very very happy and.
We are, especially when we get French wine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Luc.
Thank you.
She's a longtime actress, writer, and director. Her new film, which will be in theaters, or is in theaters now, is called Holy Days. As we go to the main camera right here, back for the fourth time, our returning champion, Nat Bold, here to join us again on Our City Tonight. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me again.
You're quite welcome.
Oh, it's great. Well, you know what? You've gone through all these great TV series and movies, and now you are writing and directing. I want to jump right into Holy Days. You accumulated some pretty outstanding award-winning actors to come onto this project. Tell us how that came about.
Well, I wrote the screenplay. It's an adaptation of a very famous book by Dame Joy Cowley. And, you know, you can't make a good film from a bad script. That's just the rule. And so I really worked for many years on making that script sing. So when we got it into the hands of actors of that standard, like Miriam Margolyes, Judy Davis, Jackie Weaver, I was hoping that they would go, this is quality writing and a role that would appeal to someone of my stature. And luckily it did. Miriam came on first, and then Judy, and then Jackie.
Walk our viewers through this story. This is essentially, as we said off camera, kind of a road picture with a great driving plot. Explain what happens. This is set in 1974.
Yeah, 1974 New Zealand. So it's got that real nostalgia. It's summer holidays. And it's a road trip where these three elderly nuns, they live in this decrepit convent, which is falling to pieces. And a property developer comes in and tries to snap it up. And the only way they can think of trying to save it is by going to visit their friend, who is an ex-nun turned lawyer on the South Island of New Zealand. That means they have to leave the north, go all the way down across the ferry, across the ocean, and find her. And then little Brian is one of their biggest fans. He's a little kid who's been hanging out at the convent because he doesn't want to be near his dad's new girlfriend, played by the evil moi.
Penelope turned to Liz.
To Liz, yeah. Still a redhead, always evil, but not really that bad. He just can't stand her, and so he hops in with the nuns, and they do a Little Miss Sunshine type road trip down to the South Island of New Zealand, all the way to the Alps.
Wonderful. Well, New Zealand is so beautiful. That is your hometown. You said that you were from Christchurch.
From Wellington.
From Wellington,
Yes.
and then they go to Christchurch.
That's
so
right,
that's
yeah.
exactly, got to keep that straight.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about the amazing young boy who plays.
Yeah, so
Brian.
Elijah Tamati, he was 9 when we found him. And we were looking for a kid who could hold his own with these veteran, iconic, multi-award winning actors. And I thought we'd be looking for years. But we found him, I think, almost in the second week.
Wow.
And we'd looked at all these really, really good kids. But it's to lead a film for 4 to 5 weeks and hold your own and be on set every single day takes real passion for acting. And in walked Elijah with his mum, who actually ends up playing his mum in the film. And they had prepared this audition. He already knew what it meant to work hard as a lead actor. And they just nailed it. Not a dry eye in the house.
You know what's great too is watching the credits. This really is I say this glowingly and complimentarily, is that it's a co-production. It's a Canadian-New Zealand co-production, so you've got a lot of big names involved in that, and that really is how these kind of movies get made.
That's right, yeah. And also, at the moment, it's really difficult for independent films. Everybody knows that it's been a tough time, COVID strikes. And a lot of risk aversion. And so sometimes you have to have a co-production where you can access the resources of 2 countries to knit together your full budget.
You also wrote a song.
I wrote a song.
I noticed
Thanks for
that. That's
noticing.
incredible. I didn't know you were musical too.
Well, it's always been a dream. And, you know, when you have a film like this, you want people to have that 70s flavor and keep the road trip moving forward. It's so soundtrack driven. And the final song of the movie, I wanted a real disco tune. And because it's an independent film with a smaller budget, we couldn't afford a recognizable needle drop track. So I kind of went, I'll write you a disco song. And so I wrote it and the composer arranged it. And we have an incredible singer called Tammy Nielsen, who is a big Canadian New Zealand star in her own right. She's just been touring with Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. Yeah. And
Just those
little guys.
Wow.
And so she sang it for me. And she's got a number of her own tracks in the film, which she did because she just adores the cast.
That's incredible. One of the things that we've talked about before on the show is that a long time ago when we first met you, you're doing well as an actress, but you're also charting that next act.
Yeah.
And I say this sadly in that this is something that actresses have to confront more than actors, which is awful. But is that you were looking for a second chapter that you need to, and when you got into the Warner Brothers school, that was a big step, but it also showed you're preparing for the next 20 years of what you're doing in this business.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that you have to step down as an actor, but for me, I was always frustrated as an actor because I knew that I needed to do more. I loved being on camera. I loved that sort of the thrill of being in front of the camera, but I was also fascinated by the whole process of how do you create this? How do you, if you're, actors love to complain about how things didn't turn out the way they'd hoped, but then how do you remedy that? Which is, okay, try do it yourself. So I'd already done that with short films and music videos. We spoke about the one with Victoria Anthony. And then I did this, but not only did I write and direct it, I wanted to create roles for actors, female actors of any age. And so I specifically chose this project to show people you can be brilliant at any time, and the fact that Hollywood is male-dominated and ageist and sexist doesn't mean that that's what we have to go with.
Right.
It needs to be subverted, and that's what Holy Days is.
Yeah, you really, I would say the film, as you defined it, is really about celebrating life and aging with a lot of humor attached.
Yeah, and friendship across all barriers. It doesn't matter your age, your gender, your beliefs. You can always find something in common, and especially at a time like this where everybody is fighting, it feels like.
Yeah.
Why not go back to what we have in common and again subvert what's going on? Do we have to be fighting? No, we can also go and enjoy an incredible time at the theatre with our friends, with our family, and just remember what the good stuff is.
Well, speaking of theaters, in theaters now, Holy Days is, and what's great too, because you've got these part of your production. Look for it, if you miss it in theaters, look for it on Crave and then Gem here in this country.
Yeah, you'll be able to watch it for a long time.
Great to have you back.
Thank you so much
good
for the
to see
Thank
you.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, taking a little break from the show, just a reminder to check out all the great stuff online and in the magazines with our partners, Richmond Sentinel.
Yes, we do all kinds of interviews, and we also do a little kind of hot sheet
We do.
in the Sentinel. So it's a lot of fun, some of the things that we've discovered over the last month.
It's a great publication, and you can also find some of the segments that we do, longer versions. They're on the Sentinel website. It's richmondsentinel.ca. Now, back to the show. Well, we find ourselves on 2nd Avenue, just before the entrance to Granville Island, at a great spot called Ellipsis. This is a coffee bar. It's a cocktail wine bar, 2 different bars, great spot, a lot of sun, big space. And joining us is a familiar face. He every time he comes to Vancouver, we are fortunate to have this man on our show. Joining us from Japan is Shinji Anabu. He is the export director for the Choya Umeshu company out of Japan. Sir, it has been almost pretty much a year since you were last on the show. Welcome back.
Thank you very much for having me here.
It is a great pleasure. Always well-dressed. No, boy, looks really great on camera. Great-looking suit. Every time you join us, it's always great to get updates on Choya. We're going to talk to Zoe Bates, who is the beverage director here in a few minutes. But first, let's talk about Choya again. For our viewers that may not have caught some of the other segments you've been on, explain what this brand is and what it offers cocktail lovers.
Yeah. So Choya, it is a Japanese fruit liqueur made from called ume fruits. In Japan, it's a homemade liqueur for many years. And now this is for cocktail base to promote in this Vancouver Cocktail Week. So I come here.
Yeah, Cocktail Week, of course, wrapped up a few weeks ago. You're still in town, which is great. But yeah, what people really may not know is just the great history and the great love of this brand, these brands, the Umeshu. These are legendary brands to the Japanese people.
Yes, yes. So that is called umeshu, the ume fruits liqueur. And we enjoy on the rocks or with soda water simply. But now we try to promote as a cocktail base. So this kind of good venue start using the choya as a cocktail base. It is very honor. And we try to promote more in this bars, cocktails industry.
Yeah, I would say that you've been making appearances on our show for about 2 years, and I knew very little of the brand. But what's great too is it's more pure, it's more naturally based. There's not additives and everything else, right? Which is very important. You see that in a lot of cocktail bases today.
Yeah. So very simple ingredients, only the 3 ingredients: fruits, sugar, alcohol.
Yeah.
So very important though to have a good ingredients.
You travel a lot. As I said, it's been about a year since we've seen you. How have you seen the Choya brand expand? Are you seeing it more like in Vancouver and other places, how more and more places are trying it out, getting creative with the cocktails?
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, this Vancouver is one of the advanced market in the cocktail.
So one of the top markets,
top
right?
market
Okay,
for the cocktail, industry.
And are you finding, as I said, are you finding it around the world that it's expanding? I mean, Vancouver, it's great to hear, but are you seeing it in other parts of the world too?
Yeah, of course, we export more than 100 countries.
Yeah.
But in many countries, still home drinking choya. So this kind of the cocktail market in Vancouver. So we have to learn a lot and we have to promote a lot more.
Do you find too, even when you get with cocktail experts and creators, that you have to, do they have an understanding of what the brand is?
Yeah, in the industry, people like bartenders, slowly recognize what is choya. But we have to not educate, but offer more carefully.
Right.
Yes, otherwise, very difficult to understand. So because all Japanese,
Yeah. I would say the best business card you have for these brands is letting people taste it, because you introduced us 2 years ago, and I'm now someone who has it at home. I enjoy the cocktails, so this has been a great brand. Anything else you want to update our viewers up before we move on in this segment?
Yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for enjoying choya, and we try to do our best to let you more enjoy.
Excellent. I got to tell you, you always look great. I know it's a long flight from Japan. You're no signs of jet lag and a great suit. Okay, Shinji's give us an update on Choya. We're going to actually talk to the beverage director in just a second about some great cocktails you can get here at Ellipsis. Well, joining us now is Zoe Bates. She is the beverage director here at Ellipsis. And Zoe, your first time on the show, welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Great to have you. Okay, you're the cocktail person, the person to talk to. Let's talk first about the 2 cocktails you created for us today that are part of the menu here. And
Absolutely.
let's talk about first what drew you to Choya.
Yeah, so Choy is just like, in terms of a brand, such focused on so many fresh flavors. And I find them really inspirational in terms of being able to use really like pure cocktail ingredients.
Let's talk about this first cocktail right here that I cannot wait to try. I've been keeping my hands off it. What do we got here?
So this one here is soft center. So I find nostalgia is a really powerful ingredient in cocktails. I just feel like it can evoke so much emotion.
Okay.
So this one's inspired by a cinnamon bun that you've put in the microwave. It's kind of gotten heated up a little bit, but never fully all the way through. So we've got some notes of cinnamon, some Canadian whiskey, our fantastic Choya umeshu in that as well. And then we've got kind of mimicking the icing on top of the cinnamon bun on top there.
Can I?
Absolutely, please.
All right, here we go.
First taste.
Oh. This will not be my last taste.
It will not.
I think this is mine after the camera stopped rolling.
Amazing.
That is delicious. Wonderful. Okay, now this next one we've got, talk a bit about that cocktail.
Yeah, so this one, instead we're using the Choya 23. We've got a lapsang infused sweet vermouth. So we're burning lapsang tea, kind of charring it, infusing in that overnight. And then we've paired that with a little bit of the Choya 23, a little bit of a cherry in there as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach around, pardon me.
Please do. little bit smokier, a little bit bitter.
Yeah, the smoke, tasty. Yeah, these are two very different cocktails, both excellent. This one's really nice too.
Very, yeah. So this one's kind of themed around the idea of like being on a train station and leaving, and the kind of mixed emotion you have with that. So it's why you kind of get the smoke and a little bit of leather notes.
There's no mixed emotion at all with me. I'm definitely having more of that. But you've been around the cocktail scene a long time. Talk about how things have creatively got bigger. I mean, Choya and this brand is a perfect example of how people like you are branching out and enticing people seeking different types of new cocktails.
Yeah, I think like kind of progressively over the last 10 years, people have gotten a lot more willing to push the boundaries with what they'll have. There's more, while classics are always going to be classics, there's more willingness to try new things and get a little bit more scientific and inventive with some of the techniques as well.
And we should say, we just wrapped up Cocktail Week a few weeks ago. You, of course, were there making the cocktails. What else can people enjoy here at this place? My first time here. What a gorgeous spot.
Absolutely, yeah. So at Ellipsis, coffee, cocktail, dual concept. So the idea is come in anytime, get an amazing coffee and an amazing cocktail. Our menu's constantly transforming. We're running different features all the time. So I'd say come down and see what we're working on in the moment.
And we're looking at a photo right now of a sunset, but it's actually in here.
Totally, yeah. So we have a large sunset light that projects onto the wall behind us. And so that's always on and then just shifts naturally as the sun sets in the day.
Excellent. Hey, Zoe Bates, thank you for having us here today.
Thank you so
and thank
much.
you for making use of these products. Great cocktails. Come check it out at Ellipsis Choya, right in the spotlight right now. This segment was brought to you by Choya. For over a century, Choya has been at the heart of Umishu, crafting the finest, most authentic liqueurs. From the soil to the bottle, every step is rooted in tradition and expertise. Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, that was a lot of fun, but Jim, I always have a lot of fun with you.
Oh, you're adorable. It was great to be back as we do every year. Lita, this is, I think, our 11th year here at the Vancouver International Wine Festival. Great to see some wonderful people here, everybody enjoying wine. Any questions or ideas for us, they can find us where, Lita?
At info@ourcitytonighttv.com. We'd love to hear from you.
So thank you for joining us. I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Visit ourcitytonighttv.com for all the latest episodes, segments, and our new podcast. And please be sure to like and subscribe.
The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.